What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today once again comes from the Big Ditch Brewing Company, and they're out of Buffalo, New York, and this is their Bourbon Barrel Aged Aqueduct, the double barrel variant. This is the 2022 release. So they are calling this one an Imperial Stout that is aged in Hartman's Distilling bourbon and cherry brandy barrels. It comes in at 10.9% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This bottle is approximately 1 year old. So if you want to get right to the review, I would say fast forward probably 3 or 4 minutes, because I kind of want to talk about Big Ditch and this beer and this day specifically. So today is the day before Thanksgiving. Some folks will refer to it as Thanksgiving Eve. And every single year for, I want to say it's been the past 5 or 6 years, Big Ditch does an event that they call Stoutsgiving on Thanksgiving Eve. And what it basically is they release a bunch of different stouts, some on draft, some in bottles. And last year they introduced a brand new Imperial Stout recipe they called Aqueduct. They released the Bourbon Barrel Aged Aqueduct and I think 4 different variants, and I was able to grab all the variants except for their port wine barrel aged variant, which I was disappointed because I like me some port wine, especially barrel aged beers. And yeah, I reviewed the base Bourbon Barrel Aged Aqueduct back late last year in December, and then a week later I reviewed the cafe version, cafe variant that was coffee and hazelnut. And I really like both of them. The Barrel Aged Aqueduct, one of the best Western New York barrel aged beers I've ever had, as far as like a core 4 beer, just aged in a barrel, no adjuncts, phenomenal. The cafe version, really good, but super sweet. I love the flavors. It was just a bit too sweet, but they're both really tasty. So I have a bottle of this in front of you, and I also have the rare offering that I'll probably be reviewing hopefully before the end of the year. Now today, 2023, they are releasing a bunch of new aqueducts. Most of them are going to be in bottles, and then they have some draft-only releases of different beers today. Hopefully going to be able to pick up the vast majority of them this year and review some as we head into 2024. But I wanted to review this one because it's a double barrel aged Imperial Stout, and I'm here for it. So on the back it says, Erie Canal aqueducts were designed to carry canal towpaths over adjacent rivers and roads. The double barreled version of our newest Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Stout was aged first in Hartman's Distilling bourbon barrels from Buffalo, New York, before being transferred to a barrel previously holding cherry brandy. The result adds a luxurious chocolate-covered cherry finish to our rich and roasty stout. I'll tell you what, the base Barrel Aged Aqueduct was phenomenal. Like, I was getting tons of dark fruit, leather, tobacco, chocolate, this, that, and the other. So I don't know how this is going to be much better than that, but I love brandy, especially like fruited brandies, cherry brandy, peach brandy, blackberry brandy, apple brandy. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what this one's all about a year old, so hopefully it has held up well. It's been in my cellar aging, and yeah, now I don't remember how the other ones poured out. I didn't look at the reviews, but this doesn't look as thick as I was hoping, but at the same time, it doesn't look thin or anything, but it's just 10.9%. It's more of like a very dark brown as opposed to anything else. So put this over here like that. The label of this one got kind of messed up somehow. I don't know. I don't remember if that's how when I purchased it, that's how it was, or if I did that. Who knows? So yeah, that's going to be pitch black on camera. In person, more of a very dark brown. Had about a finger of a dark brown colored head. That is now dissipated to about a half of a finger. Somewhat creamy, somewhat soap sudsy. There are alcohol legs all around the glass. Hold up the light. There's nothing getting through it. And it is in the Big Ditch glass here. And that's hashtag proper glassware, I believe. Anyway, let's get a nose. Oh, it smells so fucking good. So the one thing I was impressed about the regular barrel-aged Aqueduct was, again, the complexity from like dark fruits. This one has more of like a dark fruit, but like dried cherries, dried figs, things of that nature, dates. But then I'm getting the bourbon and the brandy. It has a sweet kind of like caramel and toffee, a little bit of like a peppery kind of bourbon note. They say chocolate-covered cherry-like finish. We'll see when I taste it, but I am getting like that cherry cordial vibe in here. There's some vanilla. There's vanilla and oak, but it's not too prevalent. It has that brown sugar, caramelized sugar, caramel, toffee, brown sugar. Not really leather tobacco like I got in the base one. Oh, it has an umami vibe. And this, honestly, right now, what it smells in my glass is a lot of times when I've been at like bottle shares before that, you know, you're sharing a huge like barrel aged Imperial Stout, and then you drink all of the share. Let's say you got 3-4 ounces of whatever you had, and then you smell your glass. That's what I'm smelling, but there's beer in here. It smells so good usually when I do that, and this smells awesome. I don't know how this was fresh because again I aged it. Oh, yeah, the cherry I don't think is overblown. It's not too much. It's not dominating, but the cherry brandy I think is a little bit more prevalent than the actual barrel, the bourbon barrel. This smells fucking, again, awesome. I still think the base barrel aged aqueduct kind of beats this one out as far as aromas go. Definitely beat out the cafe version. So I'm curious to see how the taste is. Anyway, cheers everybody, and happy Stoutsgiving, I think. Cheers. There's somebody outside like wheeling glass bottles down the street because that's what it sounds like right now. That finish is fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal. Wow. They said chocolate covered cherries. It's cherry cordial finish. It is so good. The body is not thin. It might be thin for like Paul over at PA Brew News. Every time a beer's thin, I always have to mention Paul because Paul, I don't think has met a beer that actually is appropriately suited for his palate in terms of a body. This is like medium to almost full-on body. It's not like thick and syrupy, but I think the base Bourbon Barrel Aged Aqueduct, same thing, has like this oily, slick kind of feeling on the palate. But it's like medium to full on, like medium full to full on body. The mouthfeel, again, it's oily, it's slick, it's carbonated, so it's like mild to moderately carbonated, but there is a creaminess there that's super smooth on the palate. And I will say probably from the aging, but maybe not. While there is a warming into my chest and even into my stomach, this is not as boozy as the Barrel Aged Aqueduct I drank last year or even the cafe one. It's hiding the booze quite well for 10.9. Do I know this is a big beer? Yeah, I'd guess probably like 9.5, 10, but not 11%. The taste, very complex, but I can't get over that cherry cordial finish right up front. Tons, and I didn't even mention this in the nose because I really wasn't getting it, but tons of roasted malt. It's not really charred, but it's deeply roasted. There's bittering chocolate, like a baker's chocolate, unrefined like cocoa nib, something like that. Cacao powder in that vein of chocolate. It's a little bit of like a lightly roasted coffee. And then there's a little bit of that, like right after that, a little bit of that, again, caramelized, like sponge sugar, like again, toffee. There's caramel, there's brown sugar. There's a little bit of molasses, like a blackstrap molasses. As it passes through, the cherry hits me right in the middle of the palate, but it doesn't start ramping up to the finish. It hits me right in the middle of the palate. There's underlying other like dry dark fruits, again, fig, date. There's a little bit of a raisin. I want to say I said raisinets in the base one, and kind of I could see like a raisinette. But if a raisinette was more of like a caramel covered raisinette, more so than a chocolate. The barrels kind of hit right after all that, and it's a mixture of bourbon and cherry brandy. And I would say it's more of the cherry brandy because that's what's kind of left on the palate. And it has like a slightly peppery kind of spirit characteristic. The vanillins are there, but it's really not that big. If anything, I'm getting like a little bit of like an oaky dryness, but the vanillins aren't hitting as hard as the bourbon. It's more of the cherry brandy. And then on the finish, what is really cool is that cherry brandy is lingering, right? And then that chocolate from the beginning, which was more, again, bittering, baker's chocolate, unrefined cocoa powder or cacao powder, it hit me on the back of the palate, and it turned into more of like a sweeter dark chocolate. And again, cherry cordial for me. They say chocolate cherry on the finish. Yes, it's a cherry cordial for me. It's a dark chocolate cherry cordial, and it's fucking divine. This has like a mild to moderate bitterness, like smack dab in the middle. This is semi-dry. This is not too sweet, unlike the cafe variant, which to me with the hazelnut, I didn't get a lot of coffee, but the hazelnut it just seemed much sweeter than the base. This is kind of a little sweeter than the base, but nowhere near that cafe. And it's pretty well balanced. I say 60-40 sweetness to like bitterness and dryness. Pour a little bit more in here. The other ones I capped and drank the next day. I'm probably going to do that here. We'll do about like that, and I'll probably drink this tomorrow. What do I think about this overall? Let me do one more sip, and then we'll rate it. Give it a rating. I think I gave the Cafe Aqueduct like a 4.3, 4.35. It was definitely in the 4.25 range, and I gave the Bourbon Barrel Aged like a high 4.5. I'm going to give this very close to the base Bourbon Barrel Aged Aqueduct. I think that beer is a little bit more complex, which is crazy to say, but I like the cherry cordial finish on this one better than the base. So kind of in the same realm. I don't remember exactly what I rated it, but I'm going to give the Bourbon Barrel Aged Aqueduct Double Barrel Variant, the 2022 release from Big Ditch, all day, every day. This is going to get we'll go high 4.5. I'll go 4.55. Again, I don't know what I gave the base, but this is definitely in the realm of, what I want of a double barrel aged Imperial Stout aged in bourbon and cherry brandy barrels. Again, the alcohol is definitely noticeable in the chest, nothing on the palate, but this is just phenomenal stuff in my opinion. I really do enjoy this one. And yeah, I'm glad I saved this bottle and I'm drinking it now a year later. I definitely think the booze has kind of died down and the complexities are still here. There's no infection. There's nothing off-putting. It's fucking delicious. So kudos to Big Ditch. I think this series is better than their Towpath, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. And I have that rare variant from them that I'll probably review before the end of the year, and then we'll dive into the new releases if I get some probably into next year. Price point availability, this was $14.05 for a bottle of it, the same as the Cafe variant, which again, this is a 500 milliliter bottle, 16.9 fluid ounces, all day, every day. For something I just gave a 4.55, no issues paying that. And the availability is you can't get it anymore. This was available last Stoutsgiving, on the day before Thanksgiving, and they didn't sell out right away. They were still there, I think, like another week or two later, but they definitely don't have any more of these. I don't know if they save some of these, and they might release them this Stoutsgiving. So today, if you're watching this, and you're in the Western New York area, more specifically Buffalo, New York, check their website, because these are only available, these Aqueduct beers, at the brewery as far as I know, especially the variants. Maybe the base one gets into like local bottle shops, but the variants definitely only at the brewery. So check them out. I think Big Ditch, to me, probably the best pound for pound, buck for buck brewery in Buffalo at this point. And I think with this series, they have a winner on their hands, because these are really good. And the three that I've had so far, I haven't had the rare, have been phenomenal, top-notch barrel-aged Imperial Stouts. And this just speaks to me because it's cherry brandy. So remember, drink the rest of that. I'm already feeling pretty good. And yeah, not much more to say about it. If you've had this one before, or any of the other Aqueducts, including this year's, if you're drinking one right now that you just picked up and you're in Buffalo, and I know there's quite a few viewers in Buffalo, so if you're drinking one of the newer releases, let me know what you think about it, because I'd be curious. I definitely want to pick some of them up, and today is the day to do so. So anyway, huge thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Check back tomorrow for a special Thanksgiving review, and until then, cheers. Oh yeah, check back next Wednesday for another Western New York Wednesday. Every Wednesday, almost every Wednesday, is a Western New York Wednesday. Anyway, cheers.